So let me start off by saying you saw the thumbnail. I think this is possible. Now, this is only if Matthew Stafford is not brought back, but I need you to put away whatever you have against Aaron Rodgers and realize if Matthew Stafford isn't brought back and is traded away, there is only one player that can lead this Rams team to a Super Bowl at quarterback that isn't Matthew Stafford that would be considered available. That guy's Aaron Rodgers. Say what you will about him, but if you put Aaron Rodgers with Sean McVey, you gave him Puka Nacua and Kyron Williams, you gave him this offensive line, and you gave him this defense, I think Aaron Rodgers could get them to the Super Bowl. Now, do I think at this point in the game, Matthew Stafford's the better quarterback? I would prefer Matthew Stafford, and I think they need to get it done. Resounding yes. But I think Aaron Rodgers' struggles are greatly overrated. I understand why some people are done with him. I get it. I totally understand it. This guy right now is going into his 41-year-old season. Okay, he's 41 years old. He has played in almost 250 football games, not including the postseason. But here's the deal about Aaron Rodgers. I was going through his statistics. I was also watching the tape. And while Rodgers didn't overly impress me against the Rams all the time, he had some huge throws in that game. But I came away noticing something on film. None of the receivers, aside from like Garrett Wilson even at times, there were a lot of drops. And so I went to thinking, a lot of drops can't be that bad, right? Maybe I'm just exaggerating. No. Aaron Rodgers has 11 more drops than the next guy, Justin Herbert. 39 dropped passes. To kind of put it into perspective, you know how many Matthew Stafford had this past year? And it felt like sometimes Matthew Stafford was getting shelled, totally shivved by his receivers with the drops. 12. He had 12 drops. Aaron Rodgers had 39. Rodgers is top 10 in almost every category. I don't think people get it. I know we're anticipating him to fall off. He's coming off an Achilles tear. He runs his mouth. He will say whatever he is. He's probably a PR nightmare. He is a PR nightmare. Let's be honest. A lot of these organizations don't want him to go and just start talking on Pat McAfee. But he was 9th in big-time throws on the year. He was tied for 7th with Josh Allen with 28 touchdown passes, only 11 picks. He just barely threw under 4,000 yards. He had a 63 completion percentage, despite the fact he had 39 drop passes. And by the way, keep this in mind, while he had 39 drop passes and all that, his adjusted completion percentage had him at 73.7. So that's taking into account those drops. He gets rid of the ball quickly, a 90.5 passer rating, which isn't the best, but it's pretty good, right? It's not over 100, but it's still pretty good. I understand people don't like Aaron Rodgers, the person. He's polarizing. I actually do like him. I don't agree with everything he says, but I like him, and I think he made the league better by being in it. But the Jets are going to release Aaron Rodgers. That much we know. And if you think he's a locker room cancer, go on Twitter. Look at how his teammates, Breece Hall, right? Breece Hall. You got other teammates as well. They're advocating for him to come back. They want him to stay. They don't want him to go. So now, would this probably rule out Garrett Wilson based on what we've heard through the media? Sure. But at the same time, I don't know if they're going to trade Garrett Wilson. That's a hope. That's based on twice it being named that he could be traded. He could ask out. But if he doesn't, and Matthew Stafford doesn't re-sign, they lowball him, whatever it is, and then they trade him away, it's either Aaron Rodgers or Sam Darnold or Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, this isn't exactly a pick of the litter. Justin Fields isn't going to be an option. They're not going to go after him. He doesn't fit their offense at all. They could try having new elements to their offense, but he doesn't fit their offense. They'd be going after Aaron Rodgers or Sam Darnold. And I got news for you. I really think Sean McVey would want to coach Aaron Rodgers if push came to shove and Stafford was gone. I know the organization might not like his antics and him being so open about everything. Maybe cause some bad publicity for the Rams, but at the same time, Aaron Rodgers is a goldmine of attention. So it would make the Rams more popular. Now the Rams are being talked about every single week on Pat McAfee. And you could go and draft your young quarterback, and you could have Aaron Rodgers kind of teach him the ropes. Hopefully it goes a little bit better than the Zach Wilson thing, but yeah, maybe you could do something like that. Or you could just stick with Jimmy Garoppolo and have him back up Aaron Rodgers. But I'm not seeing the drop-off here. And the film speaks for itself. He's not the same quarterback that won 2 MVPs in a row. But the drop-off that people are talking about, like he's this terrible quarterback and the Jets would be so lucky. He's the best thing that the Jets have had at quarterback in years. Come on now. Let's not get carried away. I like Zach Wilson. I think he's got potential. Aaron Rodgers is leaps and bounds better than just about any quarterback they've had in years. Who's better than Aaron Rodgers that's been a Jet? You're telling me you wouldn't take 28 touchdowns, 11 interceptions on the Jets? So I look at Rodgers as a backup plan. I don't look at him as the primary. I think Stafford is better and he's younger. But if push comes to shove and Stafford is gone, I'm taking Rodgers. I'm serious. I'm dead serious. That doesn't mean we can't go out and, talk about drafting a quarterback like a Jackson Dart. But I'm not having him be my starter. I'm going to go and get Rodgers. And guess what? I'm not just telling you this as like my, this is my opinion. I'm going to give you some facts, as I always do in videos. I give you some opinions. I give you some facts. It's like if you ever watched Gamer Ranks. Game Ranks has the, if you're going to buy a game, always check them out. They have this before you buy. That's what I do. Before you buy, what do? They give you some gameplay. They give you some, opinions and things like that. Their take on it, and they tell you whether or not you should buy it or not. Or not really, but they tell you basically what you need to know, and then you decide whether you buy it or not. With my videos, I'll give you my take, why I have that take, and I'll give you some facts to back it up. So remember Russell Wilson, how the Broncos paid him $89 million to not play for them or be on their roster at all? And then he signed for $1 million with the Steelers? Yeah, so Aaron Rodgers is due $37.5 million this year, and they are going to release him. And it's going to be a burden, okay? It's going to hurt their cap. But guess what? If he gets released, Aaron Rodgers played at Cal. If push came to shove, Aaron Rodgers played at Cal. He has been in California. Didn't he grow up a Niner fan? They passed up on him. Oh my God, he's held that grudge forever. Could you imagine if he was like, yeah, I'm going to go sign with the Rams? Stafford leaves. He has a tremendous amount of respect for Stafford. He talks about him all the time. He brings him up oh yeah, number 9, he can spin it. Yeah, he doesn't get enough credit. Number 9 doesn't give enough credit. 9 is really good. He already saw the Rams, right? They played. I was at the game. So the point here is that if Stafford left, and obviously he can't just leave. I mean, he can, but he's still under contract, so the Rams would be able to trade him. So if the Rams had to trade him, and again, let me make this so freaking clear so I don't get comments saying, Jake, I can't believe you want Stafford gone. I don't. He's the only quarterback I want. I'd take him over Patrick Mahomes, and I don't care who likes it. I'd take him over Josh Allen. Because in 2025, the only quarterback, make no mistake about it, I hope I'm making myself very crystal clear, The only quarterback I want under center for the LA Rams in 2025 is Matthew Stafford. I don't want Josh Allen. I don't want Patrick Mahomes. I don't want Jalen Hurts. I don't want Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow. I want Matthew freaking Stafford. They are so damn close. And the reason is because they have Matthew Stafford. You take him off this team, what are they? Now, with that said, if push comes to shove, and again, he is gone, I am all in on Aaron Rodgers for 1 year. And guess what? Because he'll be making $37.5 million in cash, he doesn't have to take a big contract. It would probably be along the lines of a Russell Wilson. So he's not going to get paid out the wazoo. The Rams are going to bring him in. Maybe at most he ends up being $10 million. But I just don't see that. These contracts, when they get all that money up front, teams do not want to pay them a lot of money. So if he chose to come to the Rams, he chose, and he goes to the Rams, and he's on some cheap deal. Well, guess what? They're going to free up cap with Stafford. They're going to free up cap with Cooper Kupp. They're probably going to bring over Davante Adams. And now it's Aaron Rodgers, Davante Adams, Puka Nacua. And, you know, you'll have to pay Adams a decent amount, but this isn't like prime Davante Adams. So you got Aaron Rodgers for cheap. You got Davante Adams. You got Puka Nacua. You got Kyron Williams. An offensive line. You're going to bring back Alaric Jackson. Not to mention, let's talk about this. You got some of the connections, right? So let's look at that. So we look at the connections here in free agency, right? So the Jets have free agents. Now, I'm not saying they'd be interested in all of them, but DJ Reed, I know a lot of the veterans are really like annoyed that Aaron Rodgers is not going to be back, or they really want him back and they don't know that he's not going to be back because it hasn't been confirmed yet, although we pretty much know. Jamie and Sherwood, maybe he joins the fray, right? There are guys like that. Sherwood, like you look at Tyron Smith, if all else fails, he wants to block for Rodgers again. Tyler Conklin, you get him and Higbee in tandem. You know, DJ Reed, like I mentioned. There are guys here that would be interesting, but there's also guys on the Packers that he still really likes. And that's the thing, and that still really like him because he's well respected by the players on the Packers. And I think that's something to like remind ourselves about, is that like Tom Brady, when he goes to Tampa, everyone wants to play for Tampa. Rodgers gets a lot of flack, whether it's for his, you know, views on social views or whatever, or fiscal views, whatever it is. He gets a lot of flack. But there are a lot of players that love that guy. There are a lot of players in the league that respect that guy. There are players that play with him that don't like him. That's for sure. But you can't tell me there aren't players in this league that would want to play with him. So you'd have that as well. And the guys that are free agents that, you know, maybe from the Packers he might want to bring over. I mean, it's not a ton, but it's just something to keep in mind. I mean, you got guys like A.J. Dillon and Eric Stokes and Josh Myers, the center, if you wanted to maybe go crazy there. And then, of course, I'm not saying that I would do it. The guy's injury prone, and I used to love him, but I don't know how great he'd be in the locker room. Jair Alexander. I'm not saying I would be for it, but it's not just bringing in Aaron Rodgers. If Stafford leaves and you bring in Rodgers, you're going to have a lot of options, and people are going to want to, because they're going to they see what the Rams are building. Everyone saw them. They made the Final Five, right? They weren't in the Final Four, but they made the Final Five, and everyone saw that Eagles-Rams game. They know how close this team is. And like again, do you think Rodgers isn't going to sign with the Rams if they're interested and Stafford's gone? Of course he is. Or he'll retire, but I don't think he's going to retire. He just played a really good season, and I don't think the Jets' record doesn't indicate that. It was just bad coaching. They also shouldn't have fired Saleh. So it's very interesting. This is not a simple blow-off here. This isn't me making a video and saying, yeah, they shouldn't do this, avoid this at all costs. This is me actually saying, I don't want Stafford to be gone. But if he is, this is my plan B. Because I think you have got to cash in on a Super Bowl. You have to win. I said you have to win one more Stafford, but you got to at least win one more before you have to start paying the wave. What's the wave? Puka Nacua, Steve Avila, right? Re-upping some of these guys that are already under contract, like a Kevin Dotson. Maybe he's going to get more expensive. Kyron Williams, right? It's the wave. You're going to have to pay Jared Verse. You're going to have to pay Kobe Turner, Byron Young, Braden Fisk. I'm not saying they will pay all of them, but you will have to pay them. Kobe Durant. Like, these key players, you're going to have to pay money. Quentin Lake, important piece. This is the last year of Cam Curl's deal. 2025 is the year to kind of go all in. And if Stafford isn't going to be around for the ride, you got to pivot. And the best pivot is one that kind of just falls in your lap here in Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, and you draft a young quarterback, and I think you're in a decent spot. Whereas if you get rid of, you say you trade Stafford away because you can't agree on a deal, and then you pick up Sam Darnold. Well, here's the thing about Sam Darnold. See, with Rodgers, it seems frustrating. He hasn't really gotten back to the Super Bowl since that one year he won it against the Steelers. But I know Rodgers deep down can win another Super Bowl if he has what's in place. He has the right stuff in place. See, the thing about Sam Darnold is that I don't know if he can win a playoff game. Like, is he capable of it? Maybe, but watching him against the Rams, he looked like a deer in the headlights. And all of the things that really held him back throughout his career hit him right back in the face. Tenfold. The last two games of the year, the one against the Lions and the one against the Rams, he didn't look ready for the moment. I think he could be better with Sean McVey, but I don't know. And I like him. I'm happy for him to turn his career around, but Stafford is one of the best playoff quarterbacks. He's one of the most clutch quarterbacks in the NFL. When Tom Brady left, I believe he became the most clutch quarterback. I really believe that. There is not a quarterback I would take over him. So that's why really it would have to come down to that. If it came down to that, who are you picking? Aaron Rodgers or Sam Darnold? Paying Sam Darnold upwards $40 million, or maybe it's not $40 million, but around that, or paying Aaron Rodgers $10 million tops because of all the money he'll be getting from the Jets deal that is going to not null and void. It's going to be dead money. It's going to hit their cap, and he's going to have to be paid for it. He's going to get the money. He's owed that money. So that's the thing, guys. Regardless of how you feel, and I know he's not extremely mobile at this point in his career. He's going to be 41. This is the right move if Stafford is gone. There's no doubt about it. You don't like it? Well, then do you want to do a quick rebuild at quarterback? Do you want to wait and have hand-holding with McVey and a random quarterback? Say what you will about Jared Goff. Goff was a first overall pick, and then he spent 7 games his rookie year playing with nothing around him and showed some flashes. You go back to that Saints game, and you could see there was a quarterback worth developing in that game. And then you bring in a guy that knows what he's doing, and now, okay, he's already seen the NFL. He knows the speed and everything. Give him a system, really nurture him, build him up, and you could do something. If you do that now with a quarterback, to just assume you're going to get a Jaden Daniels product or rookie CJ Stroud, it's just ignorant. It's not likely. So whether you believe it or not, the position they're in is pay Matthew Stafford what he deserves, or you move on and you go with the cheaper but still luxury item in Aaron Rodgers, or you pay a decent amount of money to an unproven quarterback in Sam Darnold. So those are your choices. I mean, don't get me wrong. You have Zach Wilson, you have Trey Lance, you have Justin Fields. I just don't really think those are the quarterbacks that they'd be interested in. You could also trade for Kirk Cousins, but I think I'd rather have Aaron Rodgers for cheap than trade for Kirk Cousins' contract. That's just me. So anyway, I don't want to really think about this, but I had to address it because it is news. It did come out, and I think it's a fair thing to talk about. But let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Have I eased you in? And again, I'm not trying to ease you out of Stafford. But if Stafford were to be gone, say he gets traded, are you okay with Aaron Rodgers? Did I talk you into it at least? Did I give you a little bit more comfortability? Let me know in the comment section below. But that's going to do it. We'll see what ends up happening. It is going to be an off season to remember, that's for sure. My gut is telling me Stafford is going to be back. Is it going to be 2 years? Is it just 1 year? What's it look like? I think it's as painful as it is now because I think the Rams are looking at a multi-year commitment. And I think that there's, when there's money involved, it's always going to be the case. But I think it's a matter of they have to meet where it's fair. Kelly Stafford already said as much on her podcast. She wants it to be, worth it. And I don't think Stafford's trying to reset the market. So let's make that very clear. That is not what I think he's trying to do. I don't think he's trying to get $70 million or whatever. But I think at some point or another, the bill comes due and he's played well. And Aaron Donald got his raise after the Super Bowl. And I think maybe Stafford wants a raise. And I think he's entitled to that, especially after watching the Super Bowl. Tell me, after watching the way Patrick Mahomes played, you don't think Stafford's worth it a little bit more. So anyway, that's going to do it. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to smash that like button. Be sure to follow me on all social media at JKBogan, including Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Kick. We'll see how it goes down. Like Stafford. I love Stafford. I like Rodgers. I love Stafford. We'll see how it goes. I'll welcome Rodgers with open arms if that's who it is, but Matthew Stafford is going to win another Super Bowl if they bring him back and put the right pieces around him. They were not far, and I am not going to stop reiterating that. So you guys, I'll see you guys soon, and y'all take care. All right, guys. So once again, just want to let you guys know that you can check out my new side project, The Lounge. I interview athletes, musicians, actors, actresses, all the nine. So definitely check it out over on the Lounge with Jake Ellenbogen channel. Be sure to subscribe and enjoy. In case you guys haven't noticed, I do have a Discord channel for my community on this channel. And if you want to be a part of it, it is free. The link is in the description below. You can sign up. This is basically a 24/7 Rams channel, and we are almost at 1,100 members. So if you want to be a part of it, just hit the link in the description below.